is enough, and it's time for a change!
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Cena, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line! Cause Stone Cold said so!
What is happening, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Anthony Walker. Welcome to this very special Wrestling Matters Production podcast. That's right. My name is Anthony Walker. Like I said, this is the Raw review. The Raw review from Monday Night Raw that took place June 13th. And also in this podcast as well, I'm going to throw in something as well. Money in the Bank predictions. That's right. Money in the Bank predictions. So, hope you guys will stick around. Hope you guys will check this podcast out. Hope you guys will listen. I'm doing this podcast at the moment, guys. Normally, I'm aiming to get back into my Raw review videos that I do for the channel. I am going to do that. I am working towards that, and you will get that very, very soon. I'm going through some changes. I'm doing some changing at the moment and trying to create an environment in where I work and where I produce all this stuff and everything, so I can bring you the Raw reviews on the video thing with my new camera in a more respectful kind of way and with good quality too. So hopefully you guys will enjoy them at the most when I eventually do them. Will I do them on live streams? Who knows? Depends how, or depends what mood Google Hangouts is in. Because Google Hangouts has been letting me down as of late, and I'm not very happy with that at the moment in time. So that's why I've had to make all these changes, because I want to bring you the best that I can bring you. So with that being said, guys, this is the Raw review. Few little promotions here and there. If you're in the Liverpool area, I didn't mention this on the podcast because I actually forgot about it, but I thought I'll mention it today. If you're in the Liverpool area, get yourself over. TNT Extreme Wrestling presents Big Time 16, or presents Going Off Big Time 2016 at the Fusion, okay? Get yourself over there. TNT Extreme Wrestling. It's at the Fusion in Liverpool. It takes place Saturday, June 18th, 2016, 7 p.m. Until 10:30. You have to be 18 or over, and the last entry is at 8 p.m. So that means that's for any latecomers that are coming down. So you've got to get yourself over there and check it all out, guys. If you're in the area, get yourself down there. Have yourself a good night of professional wrestling. And like I say, you have to be 18 or over. For more information, go to www.facebook.com/TNT Wrestling, or check TNT Wrestling out on Twitter at TNT Wrestling UK. The price, a standard ticket is £10. VIP balcony for 6 people is £80 plus £8.80. I don't know what that is, but all the information, like I said, go to the Facebook and Twitter pages for more information on that. It is TNT Extreme Wrestling presents Going Off Big Time, June 18th at the Fusion in Liverpool. So be sure to go and check all of that out. Now, ladies and gents, it is now time for the Raw review. OK Raw. For me, OK Raw took place June 13th in New Orleans. It all kicked off with the tag team New Day coming out, and New Day coming out and doing their own thing, and trying to stir things up and that. With the 4 teams that are in the Fatal 4-Way this Sunday. More on that later. And then Enzo and Cass come out. Vaudevillains. And then Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows, and it all went from there into an 8-man tag, which saw Big Cass, and Enzo Amore would team with the New Day against the Vaudevillains and Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson. And Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson won that match. That was a good way to kick off the show. A very good way. And yes, Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson got the victory for their team. Will they get the victory Sunday? Find out what my prediction is later on. Also, Kane returned to Raw, and it seems that last week Teddy Long was looking to take over SmackDown, or put his name in the hat to take over SmackDown when it goes live July 19th, and it seems that Kane's in the mix as well. Okay, Corporate Kane does not work for me, so please don't make that happen. But anyway, Titus O'Neil was scheduled for a match and he got jumped by Rusev. Rusev making a statement for the Money in the Bank pay-per-view because he will defend the United States title against Titus O'Neil at the pay-per-view. So obviously making a statement and obviously getting a little bit of revenge in a way, considering what Titus O'Neil's been doing these past couple of weeks. If you're a Rusev fan, he's also been sticking his nose where it don't belong, saving Kalisto. And every time that Rusev's been trying to say that he's the greatest champion of America, cutting a heel promo, he comes out and gets in his face. So I guess you could say that was, if you look at it from Rusev's perspective, that was a little bit of revenge for Rusev. And he has been showing a little dominance on that. I'll talk about that more later on during the predictions. I'll talk about that situation more later on. A Shield reunion, ladies and gentlemen, with the World Heavyweight Champion and his number one contender appearing on the Ambrose Asylum. Now, as you would guess, this was basically Dean Ambrose stuck in the middle of these two, while these two back and forth gyrate and, build their match up, build the hype up for their match this Sunday. But Ambrose came up with an interesting idea. These two are going to have a match Sunday when it becomes world champion. Will Seth Rollins get his title back, or will Roman reign supreme? But Ambrose came up with an interesting idea, an interesting scenario. What if Dean Ambrose was to win Money in the Bank, and he'd cash it in right after, say, Roman Reigns or Seth Rollins won the match? Maybe he'd walk out World Heavyweight Champion. And then it all exploded, and it ended with Dean Ambrose hitting dirty deeds on Roman Reigns, much to the crowd's delight. Right, I'll get to, and also what happened with Dean Ambrose and that led him to a main event match, which I'll get to in a second. I'll get to last because that was the only issue I had with Raw this week, and I'll get to that in a second. Paige defeats the women's champion, Charlotte. Is it me or Charlotte losing things right now? It's time, ticking away for the champion as women's champion at the moment. Paige beats her in a non-title match. You've got Becky Lynch and Natalya at ringside laughing it up. Dana Brooks looks like she just saw a ghost. And then, typical Charlotte, she goes backstage and blames Dana for the loss. Typical Charlotte. What will happen Sunday? We'll have to wait and see. I think they're in I think she's in a tag match with Dana against Natalya and Becky Lynch Sunday. I'll get to that later. Sheamus made quick work of Zack Ryder and then attempts to put a beat down on Zack after the match until Apollo Crews comes out and gets in his face. And I mean gets in his face. Really takes it to Sheamus. We all know how this turned out because, let's face it, Sheamus is Triple H's best mate, and obviously at some point Triple H asked Sheamus if he could work with him. It's too predictable, isn't it, really? But that should be an interesting match. Very interesting match from Apollo's point of view as well. Can he hang with the big bad Sheamus? Like I say, I'll get to the Sami Zayn Cesaro match and the Money in the Bank bit in a second because this is the only issue I had with Raw this week. John Cena and AJ Styles signed their contract for Money in the Bank, but John had to play a game of one-upmanship with Mr. AJ Styles because he had two contracts out there. One with him and the club. He signed the match with him and John Cena and the club being at ringside, or one just for one-on-one match, AJ Styles versus John Cena. John Cena basically punked AJ out and called him out on it, which led to AJ signing the one-on-one match contract. So I'm guessing there'll be no club at ringside, and no Gallows and Anderson at ringside. I'm guessing with AJ signing that one-on-one contract, I'm guessing Gallows and Anderson are barred from ringside. But either way, that should be an interesting match. It is a very interesting match. A WrestleMania. I think there's two matches on that card, that Money in the Bank card, that are WrestleMania-like matches. I'll get to the Money in the Bank prediction in a minute. Now, for the big issue I had with Raw this week, there was one issue that I had with Raw this week. And I want you guys, when you check this out, I want you guys to listen to this. Because I'm going to go passionate here a little bit. Because this was booked pathetically, quite frankly. Before the contract signing, you had Sami Zayn and Cesaro. Now, don't get me wrong, I love their matches in NXT, and that match was no different. And yes, Sami Zayn pulled off a big, huge win over Cesaro going into Money in the Bank. That was a huge win for him. Taking nothing away from that. Then, you had Alberto Del Rio and Kevin Owens going to a little bit of beef backstage. They got into an argument fest. And Shane McMahon and Stephanie basically booked them in a tag match against the Lucha Dragons. You book two people in a fucking tag match against the Lucha Dragons, who clearly can't get along, somehow win the match, and then after the match, Alberto Del Rio kicks Owens right in the head. They were teasing a one-on-one match between them, and then Shane and Stephanie were like, just put them in a tag match. You can have a tag team. No, actually, it wasn't Shane and Stephanie, actually. I take that back. It was that big red schmuck, Kane. Corporate schmuck, I should say. Kane. And he booked him in a tag match. What the fuck? I wanted to see, quite frankly, if I'm being honest, I wanted to see Kevin Owens one-on-one with Alberto Del Rio. I would have loved to have seen that match. But no, you had to book him in a tag match, which was pointless. Somehow they won the match, and then somehow they won the match, and fucking Del Rio kicks Owens in the head after the match. And then they still get into an argument backstage when friggin' Owens is speaking to Stephanie. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I tell you. And then the main event, which was Dean Ambrose against Chris Jericho. The only good thing about that main event was the explosion at the end of it. How many times are we going to see Dean Ambrose versus Chris Jericho? What you should have done, you would have been best off putting that where Cesaro and Sami Zayn's slot was, and making Cesaro and Sami Zayn the main event. Why would you put a match in a main event that we've already seen? And it wasn't even that good of a main event, because it had all the Money in the Bank people at ringside. It had Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn on commentary. It had Alberto Del Rio doing timekeeping. And it had Cesaro doing the fucking ring announcing. You know, it was just a pointless way to end Raw. And speaking of ending Raw, it ended with everybody on the outside and Chris Jericho climbing up to get the briefcase and sitting on top of the ladder like a girl holding the briefcase, thinking, will that be the situation this Sunday? Will Jericho win the match? I could probably safe to say that will not happen, because Jericho is not a full-time wrestler anymore. He's there part-time. And I don't see what the benefit is if he does win it, because he'll probably end up losing. But mind you, they put the World Championship on Brock Lesnar, haven't they, before? So it was just a ridiculous booking situation in that respect, and that was the only bad side for Raw for me, because everything else was good, apart from the last two matches. You know, Kevin Owens and Alberto Del Rio, that would have been best of being a one-on-one match. And Dean Ambrose and Chris Jericho for the umpteenth time. It's pointless. The whole thing was pointless for me. Overall, Raw gets a 3 out of 5 if I'm scoring it out of 5. You know what? No, I'm giving Raw 2.5 out of 5 this time. And I'm going to give, out of 10, I would say a 6. That's as good as you're going to get from me. That was the only issue I had with it. The way they booked the Money in the Bank situation. Chris Jericho and Dean Ambrose. I basically turned off that match, quite frankly. I saw the ending of Raw. You know, the whole Sami Zayn jumping onto everybody, brawling outside, and then Chris Jericho climbing up to catch the briefcase. But the main event was just pointless itself. I mean, people do not understand that Chris Jericho is there to put people over. Yes, he's had his big match wins over AJ Styles and that. But him winning Money in the Bank is not, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. This is my opinion. You might have different opinions on this, guys, but that's just my opinion. The whole thing of it just doesn't make sense. I mean, we have to be realistic here. I know there's a lot of things that we want to see, but are they going to happen? Probably not. Right, let's get into Money in the Bank predictions. We might as well start with the kickoff match. For the 4,004,444th time, it is Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin, and I hope Baron Corbin wins, quite frankly. I've got nothing against Ziggler. I just want this fucking match, this feud to end, quite frankly, because I've had enough of it. And Apollo Crews against Sheamus in the kickoff as well. And I'm going for Apollo in that one, in that match. So Baron Corbin and Apollo in the kickoff match. Quite frankly, why is that a kickoff match? Put that on the card, at least. You know, I mean, Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin match 4,004,444th time, which is really getting pointless now, and then you've got Apollo Crews and Sheamus, which would have been better off on the actual show. But anyway, let's get to the main cards matches, which is the US Champion Rusev against Titus O'Neil. And I'm going with Rusev on this one. Are they going to pull the plug or pull the trigger and have Titus O'Neil become US Champion? No, because what they need to do is make Rusev as dominant as he was the first time around. I've said this before. They need to make him a monster, except this time don't have him one-on-one or go one-on-one with John Cena, because we all know that'll be ruined. You know, keep him as dominant. He's not a Russian sympathizer that he was the first time around. He is the Bulgarian brute. You know, keep him that way. You know, keep the championship on him and have him just dominate people. Obviously, you've got to give him a better competition than Titus O'Neil. Not taking nothing away from Titus. He has stood up to the Bulgarian brute. But you've got to give him, like, more, competitive people. like a Dean Ambrose, or, you know, maybe a Roman Reigns at some point, or maybe an AJ Styles, or, you know, people like that, people of that caliber at some point. You can't give him people like Titus O'Neil and fucking Darren Young. Don't get me started on Darren Young. I'm not even going to go there with that fucking bullshit with him and Bob Backlund. But anyway, my pick, Rusev for that. Now, the tag team titles will see the New Day versus Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson versus Enzo, Amore and Big Cass versus the Vaudevillains. Now, Enzo and Cass got a disqualification win over Vaudevillains, which led Stephanie to book this four-way match. I still stand by what I say. The whole thing doesn't make sense as a fatal four-way. It makes more sense than as a triple threat match, to be honest. It makes more sense as a triple threat. But I have no problem overall with Enzo and Big Cass being involved. My picks to win this, Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson, because, well, New Day have had their time. I don't think Enzo and Big Cass are ready for this yet. I mean, they've only just came up. And I don't know where you could leave the Vaudevillains in that. But anyway, I'll leave that up to you guys. I believe the New Day will lose the tag titles, and Luke Gallows and Karl Anderson will start their dominant run. And the club will have some gold in their collective group, if you will. So, that leaves Karl Anderson and Luke Gallows to be the new tag team champions. The women's tag team match, which sees Charlotte and Dana Brooke versus Natalya and Becky Lynch. Natalya and Becky Lynch will get their victory. You know, they'll get their measure of revenge. Wow, someone get me some new teeth, please. They'll get their measure of payback on Charlotte and Dana. And like I said, this is just something for Charlotte to do because her other tag team partner, Emma, is on the shelf at the moment. So this is just something for her to do until Emma comes back, which she'll have a long wait because Emma's out for a good 6, maybe 9 months at the most. John Cena and AJ Styles, a match that I'm very much looking forward to. And the C Nation that listens to this is probably going to hate my ass. But I'm picking AJ Styles to win this. Now, I see this match like what happened last year. I believe it was last year, when John Cena fought Kevin Owens. John Cena put over Kevin Owens in the match, okay? John Cena put over Kevin Owens. So I see this as another match like that, except this, you know, these two will have a match here at Money in the Bank. John Cena will get his rematch and probably win at Battleground. And then they'll have an epic match on Raw, or maybe another match at SummerSlam. I don't know, but I think there's already plans for John Cena at SummerSlam anyway, so I can't see that happening. But yeah, I think AJ Styles needs to win this match. He needs to win this match. It benefits AJ more than it does John Cena winning, you know, because we all know that's going to happen eventually. No matter what happens, we all know that will happen eventually. John Cena will end up winning the match because if they put him up, if AJ wins the match at Money in the Bank, which I'm predicting he will, he's going to win the match. You know, Cena will win the match probably at Battleground, which is in July. So, either way, it's interesting. It is. It's very, very interesting indeed. But in overall, in terms of benefit, it benefits more that AJ Styles should beat Cena at the pay-per-view. You know, give him the match that they did. You know, give him the 101 match. You know, give him the match, and then at Battleground, give him his 101 rematch. Give Cena his 101 rematch and have him win. It benefits that way. That's just my opinion on that one. But either way, I can't see AJ winning this feud. I hate to say that, but I can't see AJ very much winning this feud, quite frankly. But AJ should win the match at Money in the Bank, and that's my prediction. AJ Styles winning the match at Money in the Bank. If John Cena wins, then what people have been saying is probably true, and that is, you know, AJ Styles is being buried, quite frankly. That's just my take on that one. Like I say, these are my opinions, guys. I'm not always right. I could be wrong. So, but overall, my prediction, AJ Styles should win this match. You've got the ladder match, which sees Dean Ambrose, Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, Cesaro, Alberto Del Rio, and Sami Zayn. I think, considering I'm going based on what I've read and what I've heard, my prediction to win this is Kevin Owens. Okay, this is what I've heard. Okay, Kevin Owens, and he looks like to be aiming to go for a World Championship match at SummerSlam. That's what I've heard. I could be wrong about this. They might go a different route. We'll find out Sunday, definitely. But we've got a different route. If they do, then Kevin Owens will not win. But I have heard through dirt sheets and the grapevine, if you will, that Kevin Owens will be the winner and will get a World Championship match at the SummerSlam pay-per-view. Now, question is with this, guys, is will he be getting that championship in the normal stature? Will he, earn a title shot on Raw at some point during leading into SummerSlam so he can get that World Championship? Or the other question is, will he get it by, cashing in his contract? He wouldn't be the first person to cash in his contract at SummerSlam anyway, because the original plan, from what I heard, was John Cena one-on-one with Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. But again, this is from what I've read, guys. I could be wrong. But John Cena, rather, and the Roman Reigns match is being held back for WrestleMania. So that leaves a spot open if that's the case. Will Kevin Owens be that guy to go into SummerSlam to get that World Championship match? And the question is, how will he get it if that's the case? Will he get it as a normal, like earning it on Raw or something during a match, like a number one contenders match? Or will he get it by, cashing in Money in the Bank? All these different dynamics. But there was another issue that was, like I said, that was brought up on Raw that I mentioned earlier, which I'll get to in a second. But my prediction to win this match is Kevin Owens. But let's go to that scenario. What if Dean Ambrose wins it? If Dean Ambrose wins it, could he... if Dean Ambrose fucking wins it, I wouldn't be too disappointed, let me tell you. But if Dean Ambrose wins it, will he cash it in on Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins for World Championship match? And will he walk out World Champion instead? It's all these different dynamics. But like I said, going back to what I was saying, prediction, Kevin Owens to win the Money in the Bank ladder match. In terms of the World Championship match, I know people want to see Seth Rollins win the championship. They want to see Seth Rollins get his title back. I would have saved this match and built it in. I would have had this match at SummerSlam, quite frankly. But I think they've booked this match so Roman Reigns can win against Seth Rollins and put an end to all this. Seth Rollins couldn't get his title back, and Roman Reigns has beaten him for the championship. So my prediction overall is Roman Reigns to win. I know people are going to hate that. People are going to hate it. Roman Reigns to win this match at Money in the Bank, but I know people want to see Seth Rollins get his title back, and they don't want to see this match with Roman Reigns, the title run with Roman Reigns continue. So overall prediction is Roman Reigns to win. And that about wraps it up for this, guys. This Money in the Bank this Money in the Bank predictions and the Raw review as well. Hope you guys have enjoyed this. Hopefully I will do a Money in the Bank review via video. I'll have my camera ready and everything. Hopefully I'll have it done by Sunday. If not, I'll give you another podcast. So that's the best I can do at this moment in time until I get things sorted out, because I'm doing a lot of changes in my stuff as well, and I want to bring you the best reviews that I can bring on that channel as well. If I can live stream them, I will. I probably will be able to live stream them. We'll have to wait and see though. But I want to do it in good quality though. So I'll have to figure out a way to use my camera if that's the case. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this podcast. If you listen to this on YouTube, like, share. If you're new around the Wrestling Matters channel, please subscribe. It'll be greatly appreciated. There's a lot more of this to come on that channel as well. The channel is going in a different direction at the moment. I'm adding new stuff and trying to beef it up as best I can as well. So if you're interested in what you see on that channel and you like what you see, feel free to subscribe. It'd be greatly appreciated, and your support matters to me, and there's a lot of good stuff coming to that channel as well very, very soon, and the only way you'll get to keep up to date with it is if you subscribe to that channel. Also check this out on SoundCloud as well, soundcloud.com/wrestling_matters_podcast. Also check out my website, guys, where you can hear this as well, which will be theheadanthonywalker.net and theheadanthonywalker.wix.com. And until next time, guys, for another installment of the Wrestling Matters podcast, episode 116, which will take place this coming Monday. Thank you so much for tuning in to listen to this Raw review and Money in the Bank predictions. I'll be back with a review of Money in the Bank at some point next week, hopefully straight after the pay-per-view. And until then, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to listen. My name is Anthony Walker. Wrestling matters as it always and should be. Thanks for listening. Ta-ra!
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change!
Professional wrestling! This is it! This is us standing up!
Yes! 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 Yes!
That's 13-14!
Cena, I am the best in the world.
Cause that's the bottom line. Cause Stone Cold said so.